Hey everyone, welcome to the Loot from 100 Hours of Slayer video. I don't really have a script or anything, so I just kind of will go in order of what I decided to do for Slayer. About the first 4 or 5 hours of this is I started on my alt account, where I kind of did various tasks, so I would usually just kind of choose what I felt like doing at the moment. But then I decided to eventually just move to my main instead to try and get a better GP per hour rate, even though my Slayer on my account is about 96, fairly higher than my alt account, which I believe is in the 70s now. I thought that would give a better outlook for the higher GP per hour Slayer monsters and bosses. So I decided to go with that, a little bit later down the line. I thought about going back and forth doing 1550 to show a better comparison of maybe like a mid-level compared to a max level, but in the end, I guess it's more of a max level or close to max 100 hours. So that's basically what you're getting with a little bit of, the main or the alt account mid-level thrown in on top. So basically how I decided to choose Slayer monsters and Slayer tasks, I tried to go with ones that generally would give decent GP per hour or were bosses or generally goals I wanted to go for Slayer monsters. So if I already had a pet, like with the Abyssal Sire, I already had the pet. I didn't really want to do the Sire, but at times I decided I would do Abyssal Demons. But later on down the line, I would decide that it's not worth it. So I would go back and forth on decisions, and if you have any questions about them, obviously leave them down in the comments, and I'll try and explain my reasoning behind Slayer monsters or whatever I decided bosses I would choose. Usually if they were fast, or if they were good XP, or if they're decent money, or even if they're none of that, it'd usually be because it was a boss where I wanted to get a drop. So I didn't really go for one set thing, which may have been a better one to go for, since this is kind of like 100 hours of just all that kind of wrapped into one. Alright, and then let's get started. I'll just show some of the major clips of, items and drops I got while I was doing Slayer. A lot of it's from streaming, where I would press, record right after I got the drop, so I didn't really feel like going back and doing clips from my live streams, like making the clips and saving them, because I think on Twitch they only save about 7 days. Sometimes I would just kind of forget, so I usually just press record and got on that. So at times, if I forgot to press record on OBS itself, I may have missed a drop or two, like I believe like a Black Tortoline Core I missed one time. But yeah, you can go through them and kind of see the drops, and at the end I'll go through and we'll see what we made at the end of 100 hours. of reached the price check-in part. First, I'll kind of trade over and show what I made for the first about 4 hours on my alt account. Oh, I forgot to clear that, but it was about 2 mil in total, I believe. So you'll see that combined with it. I'll show it all here after. As you see, fortunately, all the items from my alt kind of fit in about 2 inventory spaces, just a little less, just because of one more. But that's all the items. I believe it's over 2 mil, but I'll just kind of sell it all at once. So it's 1.4 worth that, and I can check this and see all that. So yeah, a little bit more or less, depends when I sell it, how much it'll go for, but I'm gonna sell it all at once, even with my mains loot. Another thing I forgot to mention, if you're curious about XP rates or like the levels I gained, I didn't keep track of that too well. On my main, I think I went up a few levels, and as you'll see, I started this back in about, I want to say, April? No, not April, what am I thinking? Like right after my last video, 6 months ago. But I stopped for a while, as you can tell, and kind of went off and on to it, and I finally kind of just, you know, got back to it. And I could have probably done this and finished this quite a while ago, but I was pretty lazy. Alright, as you can imagine, it was kind of a little more difficult than I thought it would be to keep track of all the loot because of supplies I would have to buy. So sometimes the astrals and such, I'm not sure if they're exactly correct, but I did have my loot tracker on the entire time. But there was times where I did have to buy some, so I'm not sure with the runes exactly, you know, like that, especially buying for cast and such like that, and also from the drops. But of course I'll put in the supply drop or supply cost to this, and I do have a plugin on RuneLite which keeps track, and I will show that picture probably right after this clip or so, showing that and how much the loot or the supply cost was. And I also have a notepad of other costs such as deaths to Cerberus and whatnot, so I'll keep that in track. But let's go to the loot tab and see what we got. As you can see, quite a bit. I did not do clues I got because I decided I didn't really want to do clues. I was more focused on everything else, but I tried to keep things organized, but then I kind of got lazy at one point. But for the most part, it's decently organized. A bit of a lower scroll than you think it would be. A lot of stuff is obviously stackable and such, but I'll go do these brimstone keys, start selling everything, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright, let's see what we can get out of 12 keys. I know that's really low for 100 hours, but I primarily focused on only doing one task every 10 from Konar, just for the boost you get every 10th task to task or score points or whatever, or Slayer points. But yeah, the other 9 I would primarily, or yeah, I think on my main I just only really did oh my god, what's his name? Just keep out of the highest one. Oh no, this guy. See, my brain isn't working. Shadow of it. What? I didn't say their name. But yeah, him. Well, pretty not too bad for just 12. But yeah, on him, if you're wondering what Slayer Master, I did Konar every 10th, and then the rest of the 9 I would do yeah, Shiloh Village. I can't remember. I want to say Vandica, but that's not the right one. Alright, we finally get to the selling portion. I won't obviously record all of my selling of every item because that would be kind of annoying. I forgot to turn that off. But I'll go through these. We'll make a guesstimate. I mean, you could probably already guess how much it'll be. I turned off the tracker just so everyone can have a good guess. Oh no, I forgot to put that there. Actually, I'll sell all this real quick and come back. Sorry for my lack of editing. Alright, now we have the big ticket items. As you can tell, I wasn't sure how to format how things were. I sold all of the lesser items, and then I decided to come up with the bigger items for a price check to see how much they are. And then all the small ones just seemed like too much to kind of just go through them all and price check, so I just kind of sold them all. I don't know why I have the Jar of Souls, they aren't really that much, but we'll see how much the bigger ones are. I think I sold some of the bigger ones, if you consider like granite and stuff. So, how much with my big ticket items? Bam, 97 mil. That is pretty insane, I'd say. I got really lucky with these primordial crystals. Without those, this video wouldn't be nearly as into the profit margin as you'd hope. Alright, I sold off all the big ticket items, and now for the moment of truth. Combine it with the platinum tokens to see what the total, not profit, but you know, amount we made. 63 for 161 mil. And obviously I didn't get all the leftover change when I went to platinum tokens. 161.160. So, I'll take that, and I'll calculate how much I went down from all the deaths and supply costs. Alright, so after 100 hours, I calculated my cost to be about 50.8 mil from all the doses of super restores, prayers, food, cannonballs, and that's when I started keeping track on the Runelite. So that minus the profit was about 110 mil. Oh, I forgot I had it off, but yeah. And then obviously didn't keep track of it all the time. I went to this plugin about 10 hours after I started, but I kept track on my alt for the first 4 hours of how much I put down. I had a little bit of my hours, or I put the supply tracker costs, or widget, I can't think of the word, into Runelite. And then other than that, I kept track physically of deaths at bosses and stuff. I did die a lot at Cerberus. If you ever decide to check out the clips, yeah, in this one clip you probably saw is me dying as I get a Cerb 4, so it's quite the thing. I could have probably saved a few mil here and there, but for 110 for 100 hours, we made about 1.1 mil an hour, which is not terrible, but not the best. So I hope this was informative to you. And if you know what kind of monsters or bosses you want to go for. I mainly did it, and I did want to maximize profit, but I also wanted to go for things like pets. That was a big thing I wanted to go for, but definitely a long, tedious process, which I could have finished a while ago. But if you want to see more stuff like this, definitely comment down below, like what kind of 100-hour thing you'd like me to do next, or any other type of, I don't know, it doesn't have to be 100 hours, but if you like this series, definitely let me know. I'll try to get them out more, especially if I get a lot more feedback, comments, likes, subscribes, all that. Definitely make me feel like probably working on it more, than every 6 months. But I don't really have any good ideas for the next 100 hour. I was thinking of a certain boss, but I wouldn't know how I wanted to do the boss. If I did, say, Corporal Beast, if I would want to try and find 4 mans for 100 hours all the time, or if I'd go to Free For All for 100 hour all the time. So if you have any ideas like that, or something you'd like to see, any other questions about it, obviously I didn't fully probably put into all the details I can think of off the top of my head into how I prepared and all that for this. So hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it was informative in some way, and I'll see you if I do decide to make the next video.